here, boom, put it on the ground. Next thing you know, you're living at the beach in Sam Phraya. This is part of the greater Kamphaengphet National Park, and in here they have a boat ride that takes you through the mangroves with an incredible view of all the mountains that all have their own little story and legend. This is again off the beaten path. I'm not sure a lot of people go here because, well, we're here on the weekday, it's Wednesday, but there's no one here. And we're going to go on a boat ride. We're going to see the sights and sounds of the mangroves from the national park. So, if you're ready, let's go. was an awesome ride. And just depends on which way you're going, but just nearby there is where I'm at now, which is, again, there is no one here at Sam Phraya Beach, Thale Sam Phraya, part again of Khao Samrayot National Park. And oh my God, this is one of them nice beaches. This is the kind of beach I could hang because there's no one here. And of course, that's my favorite, you know that. But yeah, look at that white sand. There's not a trash on there. You even got a national park guy sweeping the sand. Sweeping, probably sweeping all these evergreen pine needles, because they, if you know these evergreens, they're everywhere. Oh, that's a nice shelly beach too, for those of you that like to collect the shells. Last time I was out there, Samrayot, the beach, or at the beach in Pranbury, if you remember, I collected 1 million of these bigger ones, and I made that design into the new pond house that I'm doing. Yeah. When I was a kid growing up in Florida, Southern Florida, on the beaches, you know, collecting seashells and all that was just part of what you did, man. You get an old milk carton and you just fill it up with shells for no reason at all, and then dump it out. But the sea has always been inviting because it brings up treasures during the storms, right? And it's always something new. It's that tide in and out, right? Replenishing, making everything new again, making the sand clean again, like that, like that. There's something in that. There's something to that. But yeah, man, that's what life's all about. The beach. If I should fly my drone here, I probably could. Nobody say anything. They do have a restaurant over there for food. I think there's might even be somebody camping over there, because they do allow camping. You can probably just pitch a tent on the beach, man. What a life. You know, a retired life. That's what you want, right? Retire by the beach. I saw you can buy land out here for, what's that? I guess $30,000, 3 times 3. Yeah, for $30,000 you can buy a rye of land out here. And this is what I was saying before about my knockdown videos. So $30,000 you could buy a rye of land. Of course, yes, we all know you can't buy land. Well, you know, if you have a loved one that's Thai, you can buy the land, put it in her name. And no, you're not gonna get ripped off. And if you are, what's the deal? 30,000, like that's a huge amount of money? No. You buy a house in Southern California for 1.2 million or $750,000 or something like that, or what is 30 million lot out here. Yeah, you're gonna lose that in the divorce. But anyway, yeah, so you could, or you could probably even tell the guy that they'd probably be more even amenable to leasing the land. They're like, wait a minute, I can lease it, you're gonna keep it for, you know, for 30 up to 30 years, and then I get it back? Sweet. So you lease it for even cheaper, not 30,000, probably 10,000. And you lease the land, and then you buy one of those knockdown houses, like I said, for another 25,000, beautiful house. And it comes out here, boom, put it on the ground. Next thing you know, you're living at the beach in Samrayot, or close to Samrayot National Park. Obviously, you can't, under most circumstances, live in the national park, but live close enough here, stone's throw from here. I just passed it. It's on the other side of the highway, right here. So you could, this all could be part of your same daily exercise or daily visit, or just come down here and camp, man. There's some fishing boats out there in the end, parked there in the end, leaving probably, I think they probably just came back in the wee hours. You know, they do all that fishing, leaving at you know, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, whatever, 1 o'clock in the morning, come back at like 5, 4, just go out there for 4 or 5 hours and get a boatload of fishes, squid, crabs, whatever, and they got it. Make a little money, have a little dinner, and you're good. Storms come in. I just saw on the news, actually, it's supposed to be really hot in Thailand, some danger hot temperatures and some storms. Of course, we're in the south of Thailand, so you don't really get a whole lot of what all the central, main, north of Bangkok and all that get, because it's narrow down here. I mean, you can feel it right now. Maybe you can see it. It's windy. This is ocean breeze. It's probably like this all the time. But the shore does, the wind, the tide does come up. You can see this is a high tide line right there. So at nighttime, that water is all the way up in here. And of course, it erodes these trees. They're not that old, and the roots don't look like they're that established. They might lose these trees in the next big storm. And you got them back here. Those are definitely stronger. A little nature for you. Little facts, little fun facts for nature. But yeah, the beaches of southern Thailand. Nothing better than these evergreens. Yeah, man. This sala here, gazebo, you can see the far side is broken away from previous storms. Don't want you to come in, it says dilapidated building. You see the massive storms eroded that already. Probably not recently, it's probably been a few years. But, you know, with the right budget, they can shore that up. All right, man, let me tool around and see if I can find something more interesting. If not, then we will mosey on down to our next destination here on this tour of southern Thailand. Back at you.